My name is Yisrael. I'm from London originally, and I've been living in Jerusalem for 20 years. I work with the English-speaking Olim population here in Jerusalem, assisting them integrate into this beautiful city, and I specialize in education, assisting families finding the right schools for their kids before they come on Aliyah. Welcome and lovely to see this huge crowd. I want to talk for a few minutes about the school culture here in Israel, particularly Jerusalem. We're blessed. I'm here at home. We're blessed with 6 children, and we've had kids in schools in Israel for the last 16 years. Our oldest are in college, and our youngest is now in 3rd grade. So we've been living and breathing the school system here in Israel for many, many years, and please God for a couple more years as well. And I've been helping Olim in Jerusalem choose the right school for their parents. I've been doing this for about 3.5 years, and we have probably about 150 families, between 150 to 200 families, who I've been in touch with pre-Aliyah in order to help them find the right school for themselves here in Jerusalem. I put my email in the chat. I know the chat is one of the busiest chats I've ever seen on a Zoom meeting, but my email is there somewhere. Scroll up and you'll find it. chisrael1@jerusalem.muni.il. Anyone that would like information about schools in Jerusalem, it'll be the greatest joy to tell you about that. Now, I want to talk very briefly about the school culture in Israel. Really, what I want to do is I want to save you from all the embarrassing situations that we all did as parents when we first came to Israel, because we never had the Gvahim seminar about what it's like to be what the school system is like here in Israel. So you're very fortunate to have this opportunity to what I'm going to talk about. The truth is, what I see as the Israeli school culture, all the other people here would come up with a different list, and this is not edged in stone. These are my impressions based on my years as a parent and the last 3 years working with Olim in Jerusalem to assist them integrate in schools. Very briefly, these are some of the things. I'm going to try and share my screen. I want to talk about, first of all, 3 points that I think as you can probably tell, I come from England. When I went to school in England, we had to wear a school tie. We had a school jacket. We even had a school kippah that we had to wear every day in school. We had to wear shoes. We had to be dressed. Boys and girls were required to do this. We never called our teachers by their names. It was sir and miss. I know it's a while ago since I was in school, but even now, the school system there is certainly different to how it is here. But rather than comparing it to England, I just want to talk for a few minutes about school in Israel. The first point is a school in Israel is a place of socialization, not just education, socialization. It's a place where you find your place in society. It's not just about imparting knowledge, learning a little bit of chemistry, a little bit of mathematics, but it's a place where you are integrated into Israeli society. Now, this has many, many ramifications. One of them is that the school has a lot of extracurricular activities, but they are as important as the lessons of the school. A lot of the extracurricular programming brings parents into the picture as well, not just for the kids, but for the parents as well. You have a Tiul Shnati every year, really from 1st grade to 12th grade. In 1st grade to 6th grade, it's normally a 1-day trip. And then in high school, it's often an overnight trip. Tiul Shnati, where the whole school goes away together for for a day or a couple of days. It's not just a supplementary activity, it's a big deal. And I only mention it as an example of socialization, that you find your place in society within the school. That's why choosing the right school is a big deal. It's not just an academic institution, it's a place where you are integrated. There are classes in the school that focus on social skills. So, for example, in elementary school, right at the beginning, I think it's grades 1, 2, and 3, maybe just 1, 2. There is a class on Zehirut Badrachim, learning how to cross the road. There is a weekly class in learning how to cross the road. We didn't have that sort of thing in England for sure, but the class is not just to impart knowledge, but also to share values with the kids. Youth movements are a big deal here in Israel as well. On a Tuesday afternoon, many schools finish a half day. So, elementary schools and high schools, um, Tuesday is a half day because Tuesday is Youth Movement Day. There is a wide variety of youth movements. I know here in Jerusalem, there are scouts, which is a you have scouts in Chutz, you have scouts here in Israel. There are and other many Bnei Akiva is another one. Lots of youth movements, and kids sign up to the youth movements. They often meet twice a week. They meet at the weekend, and they meet on a Tuesday afternoon as well. And schools finish early on a Tuesday in order to allow kids to get involved in the youth movement. Most schools are associated with one or two youth movements. So let's say you go to school X, the majority of the kids in that school will be associated with one particular youth movement, and often one or two youth movements will come to the school in third grade. You normally join a youth movement in third grade. They'll come to the school in third grade in order to legayes, to recruit kids to join that particular youth movement. I know when we made Aliyah, kids rule the streets here in Israel in a way that they are the kids of the parents in Chutzarat, but they're taught a much more independence from a younger age here. And I think part of that is felt in school. I try to capture that in this first column, socialization, number one. Second thing, number two, empowerment. So this is quite a big deal actually here in Israel. I'll just give examples of where I've seen empowerment of kids. The first thing is homework, and that is in many schools, most schools, the homework is a responsibility of the kids. If the kids do their homework, that's great. But if they don't do their homework, it's the kid's responsibility, not the parent's responsibility. It's much more about empowering a kid to learn to be responsible rather than having somebody else take responsibility for the children. We see kids run school activities, but more than that as well. I know in our local community, I live in Jerusalem, and I live in a neighborhood called Katamon. A very important day in the year here in Israel, probably one of the most important days, is Yom HaZikaron. Yom HaZikaron is the day immediately before Yom HaAtzmaut, Independence Day. On Yom HaZikaron here in Israel, we remember soldiers and others who lost their lives defending our precious land. It's a very sensitive day, very emotional day. Many people go to the cemetery. Hara Herzl, which is very nearby here in Jerusalem, becomes a very important place to go to. Our local ceremony, attended by hundreds of people, is organized by the local youth. It's run and executed beautifully by a group of 16-year-olds. The kids, not when I put over here, they run school activities. They don't just run school activities, they run community activities as well. Kids are empowered here in schools, and we see that both in the youth movements and also in local community events. Yom HaZikaron in our neighborhood is run by 11th grade, 10th and 11th grade kids. older grades support the younger grades. That's certainly in elementary school, you'll match up a sixth grade kid with a first or second grade, and likewise in high school, 12th grade will be matched up. Well, it depends on which sort of school. If it's a school that goes down to seventh grade, so 12th grade will match up with the seventh grade. As part of your bagrut, your matriculation exams, you have to give time for volunteering. And many times, that's something that mostly is done in 10th grade, this volunteering component of your matriculation exams. And many times, it's older kids, the 10th grade kids, choose to be a tutor or a mentor for younger kids. So they're empowered. Socialization, empowerment. And the third one, the truth is, first two, socialization, empowerment, is good for you to know for your kids. The third one, partnership, is good for you to know for yourselves. There is a partnership between parents and the school, which is very, very strong. On the first day of school, kids are given the mobile number. I think American call them cell phones. We call them mobile phones in England. This thing, you get the phone number, you're the teacher's phone numbers, and you'll be expected to maintain contact with the teacher. I remember our first kids, this is 16 years ago, when they were in first grade, 15 years ago in first grade. So it was around now, about Hanukkah time. Just before Hanukkah, the teacher called us, and we had not called the teacher yet to see how our kids are doing, and they thought we were neglectful parents. What? It's been almost 3 months that the kids have been in school, and you haven't called to see how they're doing. We, coming from England, didn't think to interfere. Why would the teacher want a phone call from me in the evening just to see how the kids are doing? But you're expected to do that here. The schools, there's often a meeting. If I had more time, I'll tell you more about it. But there's often a meeting at the beginning of the year where the form teacher meets the whole class and tells you, at what time of day you should be making phone calls, when they expect to hear from you. But consultation with the teachers out of hours is expected. Parents and teachers find this balance, together they support the children. Now, it's very, very tricky to find that balance, and I bless you all to be successful in finding the balance between involvement, which is critical involvement, versus interference. You don't want to be a nudge. No, nudge isn't the right word. You know that in other cultures, sometimes by paying you can get what you want. That doesn't work here as well. You want to be involved in your kids' education, but you don't want to interfere with the school either. So finding that right balance can be tricky. Okay, just these three very briefly. How are we doing for time? This is about school culture. What to eat in school. So you eat before school. Not very much. Kids have a meal at 10 o'clock in the morning. Many schools. From Gun, I heard Beatrice, we were talking from Trom Chova, from age 3 till till 12th grade. Aruchat Eser is the meal you have at 10 o'clock, a sandwich and a fruit. I'm going to go through very quickly what to eat, how to celebrate. You should find out from the school, how do they celebrate a birthday, especially in elementary school, but even sometimes in high school. Out of school parties, check with school, especially for a bar mitzvah or a bat mitzvah. If you're celebrating one of those, the school normally has a policy. The school normally celebrates it together. You should contact the school to find out how they're doing it. How do you communicate with the school? Normally, the person you speak to would be the form teacher. Oh, do you call them form teachers in America? Form room teacher. Like the teacher that's with you in the classroom. If you can't read the school emails, make sure someone can translate them for you, and make sure you're part of the school WhatsApp groups. Do you know the schools in Israel are big into WhatsApp? They love WhatsApp. Here in Israel, there's 1,000 WhatsApp groups for every class in every school. Important to make sure that you're there as well. And also, when your kids are not well, find out what the school policy is. for absence. These things are going to happen. So it's worth knowing about them when you start. One of the tricky things is that if I grew up in London, I know how schools celebrate a birthday in London. If I moved from London to Israel, it could be entirely different. So as not to embarrass my kids, I want to make sure I understand it. I'll just tell you one embarrassing story, and then we'll move on to the last slide, how to choose a school. Um, there's a family, an American family, very, very sweet American family that came to Israel. It was last year, and it was their child's birthday. And to celebrate their child's birthday, the teacher said the custom is to bring a cake, to bake a cake. And being America, this American family baked a carrot cake. They baked a carrot cake, and the kid was in gun. Now, in Israel, this particular gun, no kids have ever eaten a carrot cake. And unfortunately, as a result, this kid, they'd been in Israel for a month or 2 months, we hesitantly brought this carrot cake to celebrate their birthday in school. And it hurts me to say this, it really does. Unfortunately, none of the kids wanted to have the carrot cake because in their school they make a different type of cake. It's these tiny little nuances that can make all the difference. If you're celebrating something in school, make sure you know how they celebrate it in that particular class so that you'll celebrate it in a way which is similar to the other celebrations. Okay, one final thing. Chocolate cake is a safe bet. They love chocolate here in Israel.
Yeah.
But these tiny little things are really important. The truth is, I can see I'm basically out of time. I'm not going to have time to talk about this final slide. Um, so with the truth, you can read it as you can see it on your screen over here. I think all the things here are very important. One final sentence with your permission. In general, a school with more olim in it has better olim resources. So if you're choosing a school for your child, if you want to know what the best school to send your child to, this isn't always the case, but an indication that is useful to think about. Certainly it's useful in Jerusalem. We have a Bate Sefer called Te Aliyah, schools that have a larger number of olim, and beyond the resources given by the education ministry, the municipality invests in particular schools. There are in Jerusalem about 8 elementary schools, state religious schools, and state very religious schools. All three, from the regular state schools covering the whole gamut of olim. There are 8 schools in Yesodi, elementary schools, and 8 high schools that the municipality, together with the school, have a partnership and invest way beyond the resources given by the education ministry. And all things being equal, that's often the best choice of a school, to choose the school that's got the most amount of resources. Sweet people, hatzlacha rabbah to you all.